Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review, though it's not chapter 1028, which has just come out today. It is 1027. I've gone once again late on the One Piece chapter reviews, so I'm going to try and speed it up, and depending on how much time I review this chapter, I might try and do another one following it, but yeah. Chapter 1027, Danger Beyond Imagining. Let's see, before the chapter itself begins, we get a cover page of Roger, briefly running away from a lion whose face he scribbled on requested by Toshikika, as we see Shanks and Buggy climbing up a tree. I think, is Shanks crying or just, I don't know, from what I can tell, but yeah. So yeah, it's kind of nice seeing Roger in like a sort of like goofy little personality thing, what you expect more from Luffy, and it seems he's drawn dog on the lion on the leg while drawing the silly face on him and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a very interesting cover. Anyway, the chapter begins with like Britsia, Wanda, and Carrot. Let's see, checking on like Cat Viper after, let's see, he defeated like Pespero from the last chapter and all that stuff. Though he's telling them to be careful not to look at the moon, otherwise you won't, if they don't want to turn to Sulong. Showing the aftermath of this battle, and yeah, as we know, Pespero was knocked out from the last chapter. He might be dead. I'm not sure. You never really tell with One Piece, but anyway, the next, as we see, like after we see the Musketeers also looking on after the battle. Anyway. We see in the next panel is the moon with the heavens split, where Yamato is recalling that she read this in the journal about when Roger and Whitebeard met in combat. The heavens split open and all that stuff, as we also see Momosuke looking on as we continue to see Kaido and Luffy clash and all that stuff, though. Funny enough, from what I heard, some people ended up saying that for this... apparently, when Roger and Whitebeard clashed, we didn't really see the heavens split, except maybe, though the anime made this a bit more clear with like the clouds bursting and all that stuff, but who knows? But yeah, it's definitely confirmed that Roger was also a heaven splitter, so we now have 6 characters who can do that in One Piece. Granted, for we know, Sengoku and maybe Garp could do it, but yeah, but so far it's only the pirates. Let's see, but yeah, anyway, as Luffy and Kaido continue their fight, let's see, we see that the clash has caused a bit of rumbling, as we see on the battlefield earlier, as they continue their fight. Anyway, we find out that Yamato is actually got a bit of a head wound from like the thunder barrage that Kaido did earlier, which she thought she blocked but didn't, because she stood up there watching the fight. But Luffy ends up, let's see, asking Yamato to help Momosuke while calling him like a coward, though, as we see, Momosuke is still annoyed that, Luffy, don't call me a coward! Who are you calling a coward? Let's see, telling Momo to shape up and, to like stop the island and all that stuff, which Momosuke going resulting that he knows what to do. But let's see, saying that I don't just change the minute of the nature and all that stuff, so. However, Yamato showing that, yeah, saying that he doesn't change in the matter of minutes and all that stuff, the nature and all that stuff. But anyway, Yamato says it'll be all right for Momosuke, as she will stay with him. Let's see, to make sure she is okay, and apologize for leaving her side earlier. However, Kaido notices the two are trying to leave and goes after them. However, Momosuke thinks to Kimono about giving him strength as he's about to take off. And let's see, before he's able to fully take off, Kaido attacks him, but Yamato intercepts. However, Luffy, using his stretchy legs, ends up pulling Kaido back, telling Yamato that he can, with one last shout to Yamato's name, or at least the way he's been saying it, saying Yamamo, with Yamato realizing that he knows that Luffy wants she knows that Luffy wants to fight him one-on-one, which he replies yes. As Momonosuke ends up falling, thinking he's going to die, but it tells him to as Yamato tells him to grab the sky, revealing that dragons don't fly really, but they just create clouds to fly in the sky, in which we see Momonosuke doing. And we see, with Momonosuke going like, "This is what a dragon does, I'm flying!" As Yamato explains that these clouds are called flame clouds or something, which is an interesting name, I guess. They're sort of made out of fire, maybe, but I could be wrong. And I probably need to look at more Asian mythology around, like, see dragons really to understand this, to be honest, but yeah. However, some island debris is about to crash on them as Yamato blocks it and all that stuff. As they notice that the island's starting to collapse, with Yamato thinking that this could be that Kaido's power is starting to weaken, making his flame clouds unstable. They're not able to support the rock, the island as much as they used to, and all that stuff. With Yamato saying that this was Momonosuke saying that this is a disaster waiting to happen. As Momonosuke sort of headbutts it to try and make sure it won't go to the castle as he turned big to stop it, but Yamato says that's not going to work. And telling them just take a look as the capital is so close. And they apparently will reach it within 5 minutes, which everyone knows in anime time, it means usually a bunch of hours, really. A couple of hours. Especially in anime episode format. Yeah, anime manga should really just stop doing like those. Let's see. You have 5 minute less timestamps, really. I know it's to suspense the plot, but they never really work, given the actual long-term length of the thing. But yeah, anyway. Is Yamato suggesting to make more flame clouds that Kaido created and all that stuff? Saying that the only thing that can stop it is even stronger flame clouds and all that stuff, since... And she's explaining how Kaido used the flame clouds to move the island and all that stuff. But Momonosuke thinks it's impossible because he only just learned to fly. And saying it's not the same, and he doesn't know if he has the same power as Kaido either. However, Yamato says that he knows that Momonosuke had made flame clouds earlier and can do this, even though the situation is much more dangerous than impossible. Hold on a second. I just need to find a tissue for a second. There we go. Let's see. As Yamato talks about how the situation has gotten worse, let's see, because if it lands, there'll be terrible loss in the city, and the worst case, if Kaido succumbs first, the flame clouds around the island will vanish, and Onigashima will plummet to the earth. And the fact that even if, it doesn't land directly on it, there is some stockpile of weapons on the island and explosives. As in this case, revealing that Onigashima might be a giant bomb. And apparently, I'm hearing from some people that this might be reminiscent of when like a nuclear bomb hit Japan and all that stuff during World War II. So Oda's taking from their history, if you will, I guess. So let's see, even if it's even if it's not at the same distance as the capital, the explosion could still cause enough damage to harm the citizens, and they won't have enough time to evacuate everyone and all that stuff. So we've got that, and Yeah, another thing that I hear that this flying city might be based on some other Eastern mythology that might have happened in Japan. I'm not sure. I don't really know. I know. I just saw a comment on someone's review on the YouTube talking about it. But anyway, Yamato goes that if the island falls, everyone will perish, friend and foe alike. With Momosuke wondering if maybe we should stop Luffy, but Yamato ends up hitting Momosuke, saying not to be foolish, as you want to stop a man that's putting everything to try and defeat Kaido. Let's see. And he doesn't need to put this, and doesn't need to add more weight to Luffy's shoulders. That if, he beats Kaido. Let's see. He could. Let's see. It could risk the island falling and killing everyone. So, not to put more burdens on his back and all that stuff. As Yamato says that no one can beat Kaido but him, but Luffy and all that stuff, and we can't tell him about this. So. Those two have to deal with the danger before anyone can find out. As we see children and some elderly couples and all that stuff playing in the festival as Yamato says this. Anyway, we go back to the performance Skull Dome as we see samurai and beast pirates being attacked and all that stuff, but apparently by King's attacks, some slashes caused by King, as apparently he's totally lost it, from one of his own allies is saying. Let's see, with even buildings being cut to pieces that are inside as well. We see Zoro blocking it with his swords. And we appear to see King in his hybrid form, as it just seems to be his wings that have just come out, rather than just like him going full pterodactyl or pterodactyl. I forgot the specific dinosaur fruit King ate and all that stuff. But anyway, we see it sent Zoro flying the attack. He might have blocked it, but it pushed him back all into Franky. As he captures him and is asking what happened to him. With Zoro telling him about how strong the opponent he's fighting is. With Franky offering him some help, but Zoro says there's no need. Anyway, we cut back to Yamato, let's see, King, with Queen scolding him, saying that to knock it off as that attack nearly sliced his own butt and all that stuff. Though King says he wished it did slice him. I think we see Sanji in the background looking like he was sent flying as well, being knocked back by a Queen. With Queen getting annoyed by a King's attack and all that stuff. With one of Kaido's allies from the Beast Parts just saying that Zoro had, that had managed to damage King's mask, explaining that this is why he snapped, as nobody has ever really seen what King's face actually looked like. And we see a bit of the spike bits on his head, on his on his mask has been cut off. So yeah, we've seen that it's been damaged, as we get a bit more close up of a King's hybrid form, as we see the wings and perhaps maybe some of the details on the shoulder has been affected by this. Anyway, Zoro tells Franky to stand back while Franky says good luck, as King is using a move called Imperial Archer, while Zoro's using the Free Sword style Ultra Tiger Hunter, and once again, King's mask is damaged, but Zoro is sent flying. As Zoro is knocked outside of Onigashima, as with you can see him being damaged from the blood, as King goes diving right at him, with Zoro telling him to wait and all that stuff. Trying as a sort of desperate attempt to try and make sure he doesn't get hit and all that stuff, but Zoro realizes that he's falling, so he uses like a two-sword style clear lance to change the trajectory of his like falling as he lands back on the earth. And he comments that was close from nearly falling off, but he then ends up telling King, "At least let me die by the sword, show a little respect." With King saying, "I'd ask the same of you," as we see the top of his mask crumbling, as we see a bit of like his hair and skin, which seems to be a bit darker than what we might, let's see, what some people might think. And that ends the chapter on that note. First off, I do like that we see like the Minx, let's see, congratulating Cat Viper in his win against Prospero and telling them that, we still got to look out for the moon, though, because there is the downside of you go in Sulong form for too long and it eventually might kill you, from my understanding, if I recall, or at least it has severe consequences. I believe it at least drains all your energy and all that stuff, so yeah. I wonder if that means that Cat Viper's role is done, though he could always come back and help others, though who knows. Granted, I'm hoping that Wanda and Cat will get something to do to redeem themselves from, being beaten by Prospero off screen, but who knows? I do know that many people want, there's still some that want Cat to be a Straw Hat, though I think many are favoring Yamato right now. But we'll have to wait and see. So yeah. Anyway, I do like how Yamato thinks about how Luffy was doing, let's see, with his clash with Kaido. Had split the heavens in a similar manner to like what Raja and Whitebeard did and all that stuff. I know some people say that the way the manga was drawn didn't really show that, but it seemed to be a different type of heaven splitting. But yeah, so there's that. I like it. I like that we see how even from like the performance floor that the rubble is even affecting the battlefield there, with like even some beast pirates commenting like what is going on there. Now they might be on Luffy's side now since I see one of the smile users there, but yeah. Now, I do like how we'll see that Yamato, despite, let's see, the few chapters back of like when the clash between her and Kaido, we assume that she used some sort of like armor thing to, prevent any damage, but it seems like Kaido still was able to leave a head wound on her and all that stuff, showing that, let's see, that not to underestimate Kaido and that stuff. Let's see, and it seems like she underestimated the attack and all that stuff, but shows that just how deadly, Kaido is, even with like mythical devil fruit, let's see, zoning powers and all that stuff. Anyway, I do like how Luffy ends up just calling, Luffy and Momosuke end up just keep name insulting each other. With Luffy calling Momosuke a coward and him still acting like he would as an 8-year-old because he's still got the mind of an 8-year-old and all that stuff. With Luffy just telling Momo to, stop the island falling and all that stuff. But with Momo pointing out that, I'm just, you can't rush me in a matter of minutes to change my nature and to do this and that stuff. So since Momosuke is still new to his like dragon powers and all that stuff, I do like that Yamato is willing to give him a hand. I do like how when Luffy is trying to like intervene with Kaido, trying to attack them and all that stuff, he uses like his legs to pull back in a rather goofy manner to show that even though that no matter what serious fight that Luffy does, there's always going to be a little of that goofy comedy there. So yeah, it looks like Luffy. So this confirms that Luffy and Kaido. This chapter confirms that Luffy and Kaido are going to fight one-on-one. Which I know ever since Kaido's introduction, some people have wondered, how on earth could Luffy fight Kaido one-on-one? So it's like, okay, he's got to work together with a bunch of other, let's see, characters like from the Worst Generation, Marco, Yamato, depending on who you ask and all that stuff. But it looks like, oh yeah, it's keeping with the One Piece formula with like Luffy fighting him one-on-one. Let's see, and possibly being Luffy the one to known to break this, like saying that if you fight Kaido one-on-one, you lose, because Luffy is guaranteed to probably win this by the end of this arc, because of course it is, it's One Piece. But I think we've seen that with the Haki clash with the Heaven thing, that Luffy is strong enough now to fight Kaido one-on-one, as he's now Yonko level. But anyway, I do like how Yamato ends up instructing Momonosuke to how to fly, and that, let's see, dragons create flame clouds and all that stuff, and you see Momonosuke is able to fly because of it and all that stuff. And she explains how, let's see, Kaido's using flame clouds to like keep the island up. And due to Kaido, and also proof, and due to the fact that we've seen that the island is now crumbling, and the clouds are starting to disappear, this is proof that Kaido has been weakened after as he's been in like three different fights, really, since, let's see, this raid began. First against the 9 Scabbards, then against the Worst Generation, and then at which event she went to solo Luffy, then against Yamato, and it seems like after each of these fights, it's finally starting to take a toll on him a bit. So Luffy showing that, let's see, this might also help explain to Luffy why Luffy has a shot of beating Kaido and all that stuff. So yeah, however, they're shown to be a sort of a downside to this, that if the, let's see, flame clouds collapse, Omikashima could fall down and hit like the capital. And the fact that we revealed that we have explosives here means that it could cause a mass explosion, which I think some people, like I said earlier, compared it to like some sort of like nuclear bomb drop in Japan in modern history, or some other thing that happened about some flying island hitting like something in Japan or some other Eastern country, I believe. But that one you probably need to look up and all that stuff. But yeah. So it raises the stakes, and apparently they have 5 minutes left, though. Manga pacing, that never ends up being the actual case, especially when it comes to the anime. Especially One Piece, since, well, they animate at least one episode. Let's see, one chapter an episode these days. So yeah, I do like how Momonosuke has his doubts of able to, stop the capital from, like, the island from landing on the capital, because he's only just learned to fly, though Yamato has faith with him. I do like how Momonosuke wants to, like, saying that, perhaps we should tell Luffy not to, beat Kaido straight away. With Yamato, let's see, hitting him on the head, saying that don't be a fool. Luffy needs to, like, since Luffy is putting everything in this fight to stop Kaido, let's see, telling him we'll just put put him on a burden of thinking about this while fighting him, as Yamato believes that Luffy is the only one that can beat Kaido. So they must do this without telling him, sometimes, in many ways, it kind of reminds me of how, sometimes it kind of reminds me of like how in some animes and mangas, you let the protagonist fight without telling them the details of what might happen as the consequences. The first thing that comes to mind is that first fairy tale movie of the Phoenix and all that stuff, where, Makara didn't tell like Urza that the arrow that you will shoot at the Phoenix will also kill like the female character introduced in that movie. I completely forgotten what she's named is. So Lucky Chiyu, if he was here, would probably be able to tell me. Anyway, I like how that we've seen like King's like hybrid form of like which seems to be a humanoid form, but with like wings. In many ways, they look like it's a pterodactyl, like wings. In many ways, showing them to be like sort of like arm blades, as you will, and all that stuff. And we see that he ends up attacking some of his own allies and all that stuff, friend and foe alike, because he's on a rampage. Showing once again how the Beast Pirates' lack of care for their allies and that stuff, and part of the reason why they keep losing forces, either by being damaged by their own hands or defecting to, let's see, the Straw Hats and the Samurai side and all that stuff. Let's see. I do like how we got that little banter between King and, let's see, Queen and all that stuff. In many ways, these two are really much like the Sora and Sanji of their crew. Like, they really do not like each other, though. These two are probably like a much more hostile than, Sora and Sanji, because they can sort of work together and even have certain amount of respect for each other. But clearly, King and Yamato do not. I mean, King and Queen do not. As King kind of wishes that he did slice Queen. But anyway, we end up seeing that. I do like how the reason we've seen this rage is that King has been, his mask was damaged by Zoro, so this is why he's pissed off. And we also learn that no one has actually ever seen King with his mask, off before. So, we're clearly going to get so Oda's clearly building up to this revelation and make this like a big deal. Possibly we might end up learning a bit more about King, since, he's arguably the least developed of the, of the three All-Stars, but we're now starting to see the pieces, if you will, during his fight against Zoro and all that stuff. So, yeah. I do like how that, one thing I do like how during this fight, King's slashes are powerful enough to send Zoro flying, that he ends up going to Franky, telling him the situation, with Franky willing to offer a hand, but Zoro says, no thanks, I can handle this and all that stuff. Showing us a nice bonding moment between Zoro and Franky during the midst of battle, if you will. And as they continue to fight, with King being powerful enough to send Zoro nearly flying off the island, but Zoro using his sword techniques to, make sure he doesn't. I do like how he does that. And I do like how whenever one damages the other, during ever they clash, they both seem to be damaging each other at the same time in some way, though. King seems to be doing more damage to Zoro, while Zoro at the moment is just breaking the masks of King. With Zoro getting a little annoyed about, like how King's trying to kill him by sending him off the sky, because we know that King does he doesn't really care about traditional, sticking with one style. He'll do whatever it takes to win. While Zoro understands that, he's at least a bit annoyed that if you're going to kill me, at least do it by the sword. Show a little respect, though. King is also furious with Zoro. Ends up saying the same. He's saying about how he was asked the same with him. Since his mask it's ended up being broken, and it seems that we've gotten our first glimpse of hints at what King actually looks like, where we see what appears to be his hair and his skin color, which is a bit more shaded, showing that maybe this Lunarian race, or the race that King is a part of, is probably a different skin color to what at least what most humans in One Piece look like and all that stuff. Granted, we have no idea whether or not King's race is even looks like a human's when it's broken and all that stuff. For all we know, it might be a bit more like fisherman with sort of appearance, rather than the humanoid Skypians or long-legged tribal giants, if you will. But we'll probably have to find out when Zoro's mask is broken, but when Zoro breaks the mask fully and all that stuff. Since then, we'll finally see what he looks like for the first time and all that stuff, which, who knows, might also lead to an interesting backstory and all that stuff with King. We do know that he at least joined Kaido for his strengths, because of his strength and all that stuff, and that he assisted him in fighting Shanks, when he was going to attack Whitebeard and all that stuff. But there's that. But at the very least, we probably might learn what actually happened to his tribe, or at least some hints to this tribe, because clearly this new tribe that King's a part of, we're probably going to learn a bit more about and all that stuff. So there's that. Overall, I think I'll give this chapter a 8.5 out of 10. I like that we got confirmation that Gold Roger can split the heavens, like Luffy has just done here and all that stuff. I like how we see Yamato instructing Momonosuke to how to fly, while Luffy, takes Kaido 1-on-1 with a bit of that Goofy fighting style a bit. We end up seeing more of King. We get to see King's hybrid form. We see more of his fight with Zoro, and we see more hints of his mask being broken down, showing that Oda intends to reveal it, not just keep him in just like this cool design and all that stuff, because we know that Uchi and Page One, they still get their sort of masks around the mouth still on, even when defeated and all that stuff. So yeah, we're at least going to see what King looks like compared to what those two members of the Topiropo did. So there's that. And a bit of banter between Queen and King and all that stuff. But yeah, mostly this is mostly more of a Zoro versus King fight, and learning a bit more as we're starting to learn more about King. So overall, I enjoyed the chapter, and I'm looking forward to, and I'll end up reviewing the next one soon. I'll probably do it a bit later. Let's see, later today, because it's like 1 in the morning around, 1:30 in the morning here, and I probably end up needing to go to bed. So, and this ended up taking like half an hour, so much longer than intended. So maybe I'll try and do it in the morning, when a bit more early on in the morning, before I try and do the My Hero Academia one with Lucky Chi either tonight or like one of the following nights. But overall, I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and goodbye.